Hi, it's Rosie from RoseByNameCo. I did come up with another idea for a tutorial. I'm sort of getting into the groove of making these videos. It's just a matter of, starting it. It's like, oh my God, what will I do? What will I say? Anyhow, I did come up with this idea of making journal embellishment on a long piece of muslin or any fabric, cotton that you might happen to have, and then do your collaging right on the fabric. So we're just going to try and see if we can come up with another one that is similarly as interesting and in the different colors and so on, and then do sewing on top of it, of course. And there's different names that people might use, and we're just going to call it a collage roll and see if we can come up with something similar. Now, I just wanted to measure it, and I do have this ruler here. It is a 2-foot ruler, so it just happens to be that's how long it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be that size. You can do whatever size you want. You can do longer if you have a longer piece of cloth, and do it that way. So, actually, I have a thing about rulers. I will have to show you my ruler collection, because every time I go to the store I see a different ruler, and for some reason I have to have it, especially the wood rulers and vintage one and so on. So I happen to find this 2-foot one, and I'm like, yes, I do need it. And I have a longer one as well, and it's just one of those things, when you see it you just have to have it. And even if you don't get it, sometimes I go home and think, oh my God, I should have got that ruler. Why didn't I get it? I cry about it, like a baby. And then I go back and I do get what it is my heart was set on, whether it's a book or a ruler. I have a lot of supplies, just like Natasha at Treasure Books mentioned that, she has more supplies than she could use in a lifetime. I have quite a bit also. And I filled up a room in the attic, which is a finished room. There are 2 more rooms. They're not completed yet, but I probably have enough to fill them all up, or maybe even a whole house. I don't know. I do love books, and I do read a lot, and I write, and so I also use a lot of the supplies for my own pleasure. It's not just for Etsy or for the journals that I sell, but for my own pleasure as well. So on this one, on this collage roll, which you can roll it up later and use it as you need it. You might cut off a little piece like this, for example, or you might cut off 2 of the circles and put it anywhere else on a journal, like here, or journaling card, or on a page, wherever you might happen to need it. Or if you want a whole roll like this, you would cut it here then, and have a pocket to put your things into. That is just so pretty. And of course you would sew it or glue it along the edges, and you can then put something that is more regular inside, and just feast your eyes on this beauty over here. So rolling it up then keeps for an easy storage of that. So let me just show you what you will need, and then we will get started on trying to make one of these today. So what you would need is a piece of muslin, a little bit longer in size. This one is not quite the 24 inches. It's more like, let's see, about 22.5 inches. It doesn't matter, whatever size you happen to have. And doesn't have to be muslin. It's just that it's a little bit sturdier as far as gluing all these pieces on top and then sewing on it, and using it afterwards, so it's not too fragile. But any piece of cotton would do also, in any color that you want. I happen to have this in white. You could use coffee stained or any other color that you would like. And then cut out circles of any kind, that you have any kind of papers left over. Just cut out any circle of anything and anybody that you might feel you could use on here. But really, I just use random pieces of whatever I happen to have. This is even an envelope. And anything I had, I made circles, and I keep those circles for when I need them. So I will need them for this collage here. And then I put random pieces of words. Again, doesn't matter what you have, really. You can use anything else, but I'm going to put words in these, just little pieces, tiny pieces like you might see over here where it says India, and over here, and let me see, over here, and so on. So I do have little pieces that I've glued down just for a little bit of contrast to all the color and so on. And then once again, we will use up our leftovers that we have in fabric and ribbon of all kinds, and we will kind of spread them around. And again, it's mostly random, but I did make sure that I had, for example, the purple on the top, somewhere in the middle, and also on the bottom. So a little bit so that it comes up randomly, but in places where I might need it. So I have peach color or coral, which is one of my favorite colors also. I love both of these colors. And over here, and then over here, and then at the ends as well. So I try to put green also in various places so that I have it not all jumbled out in one spot, and then I don't have green to use in anywhere else. So I did put them in different places. So this is basically what you'll need. You'll need scissors, of course, and glue for gluing this down. And let's get started. So this would also be called a snippet roll, where you snip off a piece that you might need depending on the color or whatever it is you're doing in your journal. So we might call it a cluster or a snippet roll, or as I call it, collage roll. We're going to binge on this beautiful collage roll in a minute. And did I mention that also while you are crafting, what is very important is to have something chocolate. So in this case, I do have these Croatian cookies. They are wafer cookies covered in chocolate, and they are scrumptious. So while you're collaging, you should also be eating a bit of chocolate. And of course, you can't have just one. You have to have another. So binging on chocolate is also crucial to the artistic juices flowing. Seriously. Okay. Let's get to work now. Okay, so let's get started. Our collage binge on this roll of muslin. So maybe I'm just going to look through these and see where I might put what, and try not to put the same thing, you know, too close together. Let's see, a bit of a different theme over here and over here. So how much distance you want between is up to you. So I would go a little bit like this, maybe leaving, let me see, a little bit more. So leaving about, let's see, that's a good distance. So about maybe 1.5 inches, just so that we have space to be putting some of these fibers on top of it. So let's see over here. I know this one's one of these darker ones. Maybe actually I want the flower. And I'll put that envelope thing here. And do I want just more letters? Yes. Okay. So I found the little circles that I want to put on here. So I'm going to glue them down, not very hard, but just enough So I kind of stay in place until I get the other fibers on, and then until we get to the sewing part. So we're going to be sewing this as well. So I'm trying to leave a little bit of space in between each one. And you can put whatever images that you have. If you really want the same image, you could. If you wanted all birds, for example, if you're doing a whole bird journal, then you can just put birds or just flowers, just yellow, whatever color you want to use on this. So, okay, so we're just gonna glue these down and hope to stay for the time being until we're ready. If we find in the end that we have room for one more, like perhaps looks like he might be able to put one more, we're going to do so. That is good. So I might want, I think, another flower one. So let's go with this one. Okay, it's going to be a little bit close, but we'll manage. There we go. So these are on for now, the little circles that we punched out, and well, that I've punched out previously. So now I will also look at putting the different fibers on. So if I have blue, for example, I might work with the blue at first, and I will cut this into smaller pieces. So I'm going to put one on the top and in the middle. And down here as well. Then if I have a little bit more, I will continue with that. And let me see. That's probably enough purple already. And let's see what else we have here, like this one. Now, as far as how big the pieces are, that's up to you. I'm just gonna put one here and one here of that. And let me see, I do have one more. It's a little bit turned over here, so I'm just going to snip that off and put one down here. Then I have some of this green over here. I put a little bit over here. Don't have to be so careful about where you're putting it. That's really up to you. Let's see, some of this. And a little bit more of this trim. The eyelash trim is always so pretty wherever it happens to end up. And the pieces are up to you. I think there's a piece of little burlap in here. I will use that another time. And let me see, a little bit of just plain. And a little bit more of lace. This is a beautiful peachy color. And sorry, a little bit more over here. If you have any burlap, just probably won't be using all the strands, but just some pieces of it that I will glue down. Sorry, that one's probably out of view, but okay. And a little bit of yellow. And we probably have enough, and then we'll see what else we might need once we have these down. Let's put that in the middle here and somewhere on the bottom. Okay, if it seems to get crowded somewhere, well, you can always take it off before you glue it down. So now we have this piece sort of arranged in a way that might be pleasing. So we're just going to put glue right on the muslin and tack this down. And if we're missing some fabric somewhere, like perhaps you might put something more here, we shall see later about that. And then we have this one. Some of these you might want to put under something. So if I can get them off my fingers. Okay, let's see. Get this one down here. And this one over here. And basically you just taking the time to glue all this down. So I'm gonna put this here and let me see if I can kind of get it under. There. Put this one back. And if you feel, you know, you want to put something else or some different color, you can always still change it. It's not written in stone. Or this piece here maybe needs a little bit more, so we will get that in there once we have everything down as much as we can. Here we have some of these fibers. Okay. And I like this green bit. It's a little bit shiny. Maybe you don't see it enough. I'm not sure. But it does reflect, so you should be able to see it, you know, once the light hits it in a certain way. Let me just see if we can get this down here. And then that one's there. This one comes over here. Let's see if we can make it stay. So we have two of these, the same ones, but that's all right. Okay. Getting down to the bottom. Just put a little more glue on here. And let's see, what can we glue down there? This one. Okay, this one doesn't want to stay so well. Put the yellow on top. And if you end up putting something on top of each other, that's okay too. Now we want it to stay enough so that when we go to sew it up, it's still in place. Now let's put these fibers here and then that on top. Let's see if we can make that stay. I know I have more fibers on my fingers. Let's see if we can put that over here. Oh, I think I put this one upside down. Let's try this way. Okay. Now it's staying down for the most part. Some of them might come up, but I'm going to try get it the best we can. Again, if it's not quite wanting to stay, use your scissors to tack it down because your fingers are already quite wet with glue. Now we have the same fiber on this side. That's okay. It's okay. It's all good. So now we've done our first gluing, and we're just gonna check to see if we want to add a little bit more somewhere. So I'm thinking that maybe we need a little bit of black, because we do have some black letters, but all the others except for the purple here are quite soft in color. So I'm going to add a little bit of black in places just to offset all these lighter colors. And let's see if I have, okay, this one's a little bit darker. Let's add that. And do I have any wool in black? Oh, here, I thought I had some, yes. So here we go. A little bit darker over here. I'm gonna add that over here. So a little bit with the black, just to make it pop up a little bit more. Okay, and also fill in some spots that we feel maybe need a bit more something. Not that every spot must be filled up, but that is what a collage is all about. We do want to put pieces down. This piece is cut up on me again. Let me see. Okay. And this one over here. Yes, I lost this one. Okay, let's put it back over here. Okay. Ouch, I did press that down on my finger. Gotta watch that. Okay, I can just stay long enough to get to the sewing machine would be good. So we collage binged on this snippet roll, on a roll of muslin, and we're going to put this through the sewing machine to have these designs on it, and also to hold the papers down and so on. So the last thing we want to do is put in a little bit more, for a little more inches, some kind of random words or whatever it happens to come up. It doesn't really have to really say anything. We're just going to get little bits that we're going to add for a little more interest. It's not in any kind of order or any kind of specific thing that we're trying to do. It's just whatever comes up. You see something about smallpox. I don't know. It doesn't matter. So let's see. I think we probably have enough. We don't want to overdo either. Okay. So this will just also go on the glue and then just press down randomly. I am having them all read this way, so there's a little bit of order, but if you happen to, when you're using it, you know, put it upside down, it doesn't matter. We're almost done with this part, and there. So we have some words down, and some writing, and some little bit painted parts, a little bit of flowers. Now this one I think not quite stinks, so let me just see. And I don't want it right on top of the flower, so let's leave it here. And we're done with this part, and we're going to go on to sewing. So thanks for coming back to do more of our collage binging, and hopefully you'll come back again for the next part of this one. For the collage roll, we're going to go sew this up in the next video. Thank you. Again, Rosie from RoseByNameCo. Bye-bye.